Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, there is a place beyond the barrier next to the old pet cemetery where the dead do not rest. In fact, they come back, and they come back pissed. Tonight's movie, Dale Midkiff, Fred Gwynn, and Denise Crosby star in Pet Cemetery.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another night of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Baby Circus. Yes, episode number 30. Episode number 30. After tonight, there is only one more episode left. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a ride, what a ride. Anyways, tonight, coming off of last night's Smarter Than Average Giallo. At least I'm going to call it that. Anyways, yes, not as smart as maybe some of the Argento stuff, but still wonderful movie, Torso. It is time. It is time to do the final, compare, contrast, movie remake type situation, because there was a movie that came out earlier this year and I watched it and I liked it and I thought, you know what? Let's add that to the list for the final two episodes. And tonight's episode is going to be the original, and that is, of course, you've already read the title, so I shouldn't even say anything right now. Anyways, the movie is Pet Sematary, 30th Anniversary Edition. My God, it's been 30 years. I am so old. Anyway, so Pet Sematary, based on the Stephen King novel. What is Pet Sematary about? Well, it is about a doctor who moves his family from Chicago to Maine, rural area in Maine. I mean, I guess isn't everywhere in Maine rural? I don't know. I've never been. Anyways. And it's a wonderful house, and he's going to have a nice, I guess you would say, easygoing life without the big city pressures and whatnot. However, this house is on a road that is quite frequented by semi-trucks, mostly tanker trucks, because apparently there's like a refinery area close by. And the movie definitely does not hide away from the fact that it wants to heavy-handedly foreshadow truck problems, because my God, it's like, oh, anyways. So, of course, the family, it's got the wife, the daughter, and the young son, and they have a cat, and, of course, the cat is run over by a truck, and it's going to be very devastating for the doctor's daughter. However, the neighbor has an option that he'd like to give him, and that is to go beyond this pet cemetery that happens to be kind of in their backyard, off the beaten path. Well, actually, there is a path to it. But after that, there's this big barrier of, like, basically it looks like a beaver dam. And so he's like, hey, let's climb over this, go through what seems like miles of terrain, including rocks and cliffs and God knows what else. And then they're in this desolate plain area, which, I mean, it just seems like, you know, people, like, fly over or satellite footage would know this exists. I don't know. Anyways, there used to be an Indian burial ground, but it has been long since abandoned because the ground is sour. Yeah, because he buries his cat in the burial ground, and lo and behold, it comes back from the dead. Suffice it to say, family tragedy happens later on, and the fact that we've already established that this area can bring things back from the dead, well, the doctor succumbs to the temptation, while, of course, being kind of insane with grief, to try it once again with a more human subject. And let's just say it doesn't go as he planned. So let's get to those scores, shall we? Violence and gore. I am giving it a 3 out of 5. Look, everything of note happens basically in the end of the movie, and the violence in the end of the movie is pretty nasty, pretty brutal, and there is some good throat rippage, and I do love some throat rippage, so yeah, 3 out of 5. Shock value is also a 3 out of 5. There are a few scares, especially toward the end, but really the shock is about like the situations that are happening, and the fact that like it's creepy as hell what happens, because this this person that comes back to life is like just creepy as all get out, and like, you have to play with me, and they can't play with mommy. I'm like, okay, man. I mean, sure, I think I could take you in a fight, but holy creepy, man. Holy creepy, Batman. Anyway, so 3 out of 5 for shock value. Plot, I am going to give this a solid 3 out of 5. One of the problems with this movie, though, is that the front end is so, like, not much happening. Everything of real note, everything of value happens toward the end. Yes, I mean, you get character, and you get, like, the foreshadowing, and you get the whole premise of, bringing people back to or life, or bringing things back to life using the thing beyond the pet cemetery, not the actual pet cemetery, but beyond it. And that's all well and good, but it seems like there's a lot of things that could have been, I don't know, buttoned up, tightened up, a lot of things that could have been edited differently to help the movie flow a bit faster. The movie definitely, especially when you get into the halfway point, you're starting to feel the runtime, and you're kind of chomping at the bit for the stuff to get good. And I am rewatching this, of course. I've seen it before, and so yeah, I kind of know what to expect that's coming up, and that kind of helps. But from someone who probably hasn't watched this before, coming in from it new, they might have trouble getting through the first half or the first 2/3 of this movie, because it's not a whole lot of stuff is happening in this movie, and there are some things that really could have been done differently. I don't want to get into any kind of spoilers, but there are like character moments, situations that really could have like been cut down or completely removed. I mean, I know we have the caretaker, the nanny, whatever. She ends up committing suicide. It's not like a spoiler, and that kind of they have to go to the funeral. That sort of brings up like the whole concept of death, and the conversation with the daughter and things like that. And I know that stuff is important, but just the way they handled the character, the way that, they could have just, I don't know, did it much more quickly. I think that there was a few wasted moments within that, and there's just other things that happen. Like the whole dynamic with the wife's family, the wife's side of the family, I think just a little too much was made out of that, which I don't think was important enough to the rest of the story to spend as much time as they did with it. And I mean, they could have really made it quick, and like, yes, there's animosity, and stuff like that. The scene, like at the funeral, not for at a different funeral, I think just was completely unnecessary. And the subsequent like apology session at the airport was completely unnecessary if you didn't have that. And I know that I did not read the book, so I mean, this could be all stuff that was in the book and that they're trying to shoehorn it in. But the thing is, let's make it pithy. And I know I'm one to talk about that kind of stuff because, I tend to ramble on, just like what I'm talking about here. But because of that, I can't give it any higher. But 3.3 out of 5, still very solid. It's worth the wait to get to the end, but unlike a slow burn, where there's, this churning that's kind of happening and this ramping, it's really kind of like very level, and then bam, all kinds of shit. So anyways, 3 out of 5. Acting, 3 out of 5. The performances are pretty good overall. However, one of the things, when we talk about the remake, and I'll touch on this in tomorrow's episode, there was a lot of people complained about the performance of the Doctor, and watching this again makes me realize that perhaps he was channeling this performance, because he's got a very Keanu Reeves early 90s vibe to him. I mean, you could close your eyes and it almost sounds like him in a way, but very like stone face, very one note performance by him. And so I'm just wondering if maybe that's the inspiration for another sort of one note. I mean, he definitely still emotes, but it still has this kind of weird, almost stilted, distant, not really there, but there type of performance. I don't know. But overall, still pretty enjoyable. Definitely Italian giallo levels of consistency. I don't know. I mean, overall, I think, pretty solid though. 3 out of 5. Going on to Nudity, that is a 0 out of 5. Yeah, I mean, didn't really see much area where they could put it in. I mean, unless, there was some, hey, we got a new house, let's break in the new bed, right? But nothing like that. So, yeah, 0 out of 5. Enjoyment factor is a 3 out of 5. I do enjoy the movie. The ending, the last act, very good. The ending actually does kind of bother me because it's kind of like you didn't learn your lesson type of ending, and it just really kind of rubs me the wrong way in a little way. But it does give us some extra gore effects. But still, it's did you not learn anything? I mean, it just seems like I don't know. I mean, you just went through this, and it was tragic, and then you have to do some more tragic things, and now more tragedies happening because you did the stupid thing that you did before, and you think it's going to be better by repeating the same mistake. And I guess maybe it's because he's going insane, but the thing is, his deadpan performance kind of makes it I can't tell if he's actually nuts or not. I mean, his actions are nuts, but his temperament seems kind of calm, cool, and collected. So I don't know. 3 out of 5. Yes, I wish they, I wish things worked out a little bit differently. I wish that the beginning was a bit more stuff going on and atmosphere building. For instance, the first half of the movie just doesn't seem to have any real atmosphere, and they are freaking bludgeoning you over the head with all that truck stuff, over and over again. We get it, you can just do it a couple scenes, but it's every freaking scene with that road, there's a truck going by, and it's yeah, we get it. We get it. You would think, and the thing is, I think they do it too much in the beginning, because because the audience and myself and we all just get it that, okay, there's trucks every single time. And so you would start thinking that the other characters in this world would have that kind of respect for that road, because every single time it's shown, it's a freaking truck every freaking time. And you would think that, they would just, be wary of that at all times. But apparently not. Because we need to have a story. So anyways, 3 out of 5. My overall impression is a 3 out of 5. Like I said, solid movie, enjoyable. You just kind of have to get to the end for all the great juicy stuff. I'm not saying that nothing happens in the first 2 acts. It's just not as much interesting stuff happens in the first two acts. And, of course, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know. But 3 out of 5. That averages out to a 2.6 out of 5. Yeah, it should have been, it could have been like, you know, if you would have had that bedroom scene, you could have hit that 3 perfectly because everything else was a 3. And then you get that 0 score, which really screws you over. But, hey, you know, that's what happens. That's what happens, okay? Yeah, anyways. So there you have it. Pet Sematary. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Leave a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. And thank you once again for joining me for another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And tomorrow night, I've got a special opening that I've been working on, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy it. Hopefully it won't be completely crap. It's just going to be mostly crap, probably. Anyways, but once again, thank you for sharing this 31 Nights of Halloween Horror with me. And remember, Internet, you guys stay scary. And look, sometimes dead is better. Okay? All right.